Alright guys, so we are going to go through a quick review over integers and GEMDAS just because it's been a little while. So let's chat about a few things. So in this first problem, we have 18 minus negative 12. And I know that that's a minus because that's how we read it. And the parentheses right here, this is what's kind of confusing us, that parentheses. So in front of the parentheses, I have a minus sign. So again, this is 18 minus negative 12. So since I am subtracting, I am going to rewrite 18 minus negative 12. And I'm just going to get rid of that parentheses so it doesn't confuse me. Now, since I'm subtracting negatives, I need to use my table. And to do that, I need to circle my numbers. So I'm going to circle both symbols with that 12 and my 18, and then I'm going to rewrite. I have a positive 18 because if it doesn't have a symbol, it's invisible positive. And then I need to talk about these two negatives, two evils. What do two evils get together and make? They make a positive. So now I have a positive 18 and a positive 12. Same signs you add. So we are going to add and get 30, and they're all positive. So my answer is just positive 30 for that one. All right, now we're moving on to this one right here. So now we have a triplet. We have three things. So let's read this. We would read negative 2 plus 7 minus negative 4. Again, that is a minus negative 4. It's not multiplication, so I'm going to rewrite it. Negative 2 plus 7 minus negative 4. That is not multiplication, it's a minus. So again, I am adding and subtracting with negatives, so I need a table. So I'm going to circle everything. Remember, the 4 gets both, the 7 gets a positive, and the 2 is negative. So when I rewrite negative 2, positive 7, and then again 2 negatives, make that a positive 4. So put them in our table. And then same signs you add. So I'm going to add the 7 and the 4 because they're on the same side. That gives me 11. And then I'm going to get rid of those 2. So now I am having an 11 and a 2. So now different signs subtract. 11 minus 2 is 9. And the 11 has more power, so it's a positive 9, so just 9. All right, now moving on to this next one right here. So this one, this is where we have a parentheses, but right in front, there's no symbol right there. There's just a 3. So if there's just a 3, this is multiplication, okay? So this is 3 times negative 4, because again, there's no symbol between the parentheses and the 3. So since I'm multiplying with the negative, I know I need integer man. Okay, that's what he looks like. 3 times 4 is 12, and I'm not just going to throw a random negative on this. I have a positive 3, so I get rid of that, and a negative 4, so I get rid of that. Negative 12 is my final answer. All right. Next, we have an exponent, okay? So remember, we write the big number this many times. So I'm writing 10 3 times, and exponents mean we are multiplying, okay? So I can only multiply 2 numbers at a time. So 10 times 10 is 100. I know that. And then I'm going to rewrite what I have left. And then lastly, 100 times 10 is 1,000, and that is exponents. We write the big number, the little number amount of times. All right, last one. So notice I have a lot of things happening here, and this is going to be a tower question. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my tower over here to the side, and I'm going to fill in what I already know. We know we need a GE, groups, exponents, and don't forget we need integer man here and a table here just in case we have negatives. So now I'm going to look at my parentheses. So this parentheses counts as a group because there's actually stuff happening. This parentheses, however, is just a 6. So I need to decide what is happening here. So in front of the parentheses, there is nothing but a 2. So that is multiplication. I'm going to go ahead and put a dot. So now I'm going to look and fill in my tower. So I have exponents, that's already there. The next thing I see is division, so I'm going to put that here. The next thing I see, you might think subtraction, but no, that is part of the group. So this whole thing counts as a group. So the next thing I see is subtraction, so I'm going to put that down here. And then lastly, we just discussed this is multiplication, so I'm going to put an M for multiply. Now I can start solving, okay? So first step, remember we start at the top, my group. So I'm going to put a box around my group to show my work. Now, inside my group, I have an exponent and subtraction. So you can kind of think of this. This has its own little tower. Okay, so what would come first? An exponent or a subtraction? An exponent would. So that's what we're going to do first, even though it's inside the group. And remember, this is 3 2 times. So 3 times 3 is 9. And that is 9 minus 1. We are still inside the group, so we are not done. Now we do 9 minus 1, which is 8. And that whole thing is done, and then we need to rewrite. So in front, I have divided 4 squared, and behind I have 2. And remember, that is multiply, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that. So our group is done. Now we move on to the next row, which is exponents. So my next step is exponents. And remember, this is not 4 times 2. It is 4 2 times. And remember, we're multiplying. So 4 times 4 is not 8. It is 16. And then again, I am going to rewrite everything. Make sure you rewrite every single step. So exponents are done. Remember, division came first when we were reading this. Division, then multiply. So I have to do division first. So divide. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And then rewrite your problem. Division is done. My next step would be multiply. So 2 times 6 is 12. And then last, rewrite. Now, this is the most important part, and we are still messing up on this. This is not 12 minus 2. This is I am starting with a 2 and taking away 12. So if I have 2 cookies, can I take away 12 cookies? No, I can't. That is because our answer is going to be a negative. And 12 minus 2 is 10, so that is going to be negative 10. Also, we could have used our table because we are subtracting, so that is table. So if we were to do that, I would have had a negative 12 and a positive 2, different signs, subtract, and then my negative would have been bigger, so negative 10.